The text arrived at 11:02 p.m. 2 nights before the flight. You won't be joining us. My wife prefers to keep it only her family. You've already done your part by paying. I was sitting at the kitchen table in the house where I had raised Nathan, where I had bandaged his knees, where I had waited up for him on prom night. The only light came from the under cabinet bulbs, soft and yellow, the way James always liked them. My reading glasses were halfway down my nose. My hands still smelled of tape from wrapping 30 little Aloha from Grandma bags for grandchildren, who, it turned out, would never open them with me. I read the message 4 times. The words didn't change. A second text followed before I could breathe. Don't take it the wrong way, Mom. It's not personal. It's just simpler this way. Simpler. As if erasing a mother could ever be simple. I placed the phone face down and stared at the stack of zippered pouches lined up like soldiers on the counter. Sunscreen, motion sickness bands, glow sticks for the kids, a tiny bottle of lavender essential oil because Olivia gets headaches on planes, every label written in my careful grandmother cursive, every item chosen with love that apparently now had an expiration date. I had paid for everything. $21,000 scraped together over 3 years of skipped lunches, canceled cable, double shifts tutoring English online until my eyes burned. I had sold my mother's china, James's old fishing gear, the antique rocker I nursed both my babies in. Every dollar had gone into the mason jar I hid behind the flower, then into the travel fund I named Hawaii with Love. I had pictured it so clearly. 9 of us in a beachfront villa on Maui. Me teaching the grandkids to float on their backs while Nathan grilled mahi-mahi. Tanya's mother finally relaxing in a real bed instead of the lumpy sofa she insisted on when they visited. All of us lighting candles around James's photograph on the lanai, telling stories about the honeymoon he and I took when we were too poor for anything but each other. I had even bought custom t-shirts. Family is Forever, 2023, in hibiscus red. Now I understood why my shirt had never arrived with the others. I walked to the hallway closet and opened my suitcase. 2 sundresses I hadn't worn since the 90s. The framed photo of James laughing on Waikiki Beach in 1978. Sunburned shoulders peeling, arms around a younger me who still believed love was forever, if you just gave enough of it. The lavender candle I'd saved for the last night, when we would all hold hands and remember him. I closed the suitcase without touching anything inside. Back in the kitchen, I opened my laptop. The travel fund glowed on the screen. $21,763.84. Every booking, every flight, every excursion linked to 6 shiny new debit cards. I had mailed to Nathan and Tanya with a note that said, "So you don't have to worry about a thing." I clicked into the account settings. There was a button I had never noticed before. Freeze all linked cards. A single line of text beneath it. This action will immediately disable all cards and pause pending transactions. Account owner authorization required to reverse. My cursor hovered. I thought of Tanya's Christmas caption last year. Immediate family only. I had liked it anyway. I thought of the way Nathan stopped saying, "Love you, Mom," at the end of phone calls and started saying, "Talk soon." I thought of the matching red sweaters they all wore for photos while I stood on the edge in my old blue cardigan, smiling like I belonged. I did not cry. I did not call him. I did not beg. I simply clicked the button. A soft chime. A blue banner. Freeze activated. All transactions paused. I closed the laptop, poured myself a glass of water, and for the first time in 3 years, I slept without dreaming of plane tickets. Chapter 2. The silence that spoke louder than any argument. The morning of the flight, I woke before the sun. Not from nerves, from clarity. I made coffee in the same pot James and I bought the week we moved into this house. I sat at the kitchen table and opened my phone for the first time since freezing the account. No messages, no missed calls. They were already on their way to LAX, certain that everything was handled because it always had been. At 8:17 a.m., the first text came. Nathan, hey mom, weird error at check-in. Can you check the travel account real quick? I let it sit. Re-delivered. 8:23 a.m. Nathan, they're saying the card's being declined. Did something get flagged? 8:29 a.m. Nathan, mom, please answer. The kids are getting antsy. Then Tanya joined in, her own thread as if I might respond faster to the woman who had erased me. Tanya, Marilyn, we're at the gate and nothing's working. Can you call the bank? This is really stressful for everyone. I placed the phone face down again and went to water the African violets on the windowsill. James had kept them alive for 30 years. I wasn't about to let them die now. By 9:05, the calls started, one after another, lighting up the screen like a slot machine that would never pay out. I let everyone roll to voicemail. I listened to exactly one. Nathan's voice, low and frantic. Mom, I don't know what you did, but if this is because of the text, we can talk about it on the trip. Please, just fix it. The kids are crying. I deleted it. Then I deleted the rest unheard. At 9:47 a.m., the airline canceled the tickets automatically. No payment source, no seats. I watched the confirmation email arrive with the same calm I once used to watch Nathan take his first steps. The villa followed at 10:12, then the rental car, then the luau, the snorkeling tour, the private chef. One by one, every reservation dissolved like sugar in rain. Every refund pinged quietly back into my account, polite and final. By noon, the phone had gone silent. They were stranded at the airport with 8 suitcases, 4 overexcited children, and no plan. I pictured Tanya's mother clutching her neck pillow like a life raft. I pictured Nathan staring at a boarding pass printer that refused to love him back. I did not picture it with pleasure. I pictured it with relief. That afternoon, I opened a new spreadsheet titled, The Women Who Stayed. I typed 6 names. Carol widowed, son hasn't called since the funeral. Louise raised 3 grandkids alone, never once missed a recital, never once invited to one. Frances cared for her dying husband for 12 years, now lives in the house that still smells like hospital soap. Beverly slept on a cot beside her brother's nursing home bed for 18 months. Nora, retired librarian, who told me last month, I've read about the ocean my whole life, never touched it. Denise, the neighbor who drove me to chemo when James was sick and never let me pay for gas. I called them one by one. The conversations were almost identical. Hello? It's Marilyn Monroe from church. Oh, honey, how are you? I'm wonderful. How would you like to see Hawaii next month? All expenses paid, no strings, no grandchildren required. Silence, then tears. Then laughter that sounded like breaking chains. By sunset, I had 6 yeses and a new booking under my own name only. I rebooked the exact same villa, now suddenly available at a distress rate discount. Same 8 nights, same ocean view, same fire pit where I would still light James's candle, but this time surrounded by women who had earned every grain of that sand. I bought 7 custom t-shirts, this time in soft sunrise colors, across the chest in simple white letters. We were never the problem. I packed James's photograph first, then the lavender candle, then the stack of Aloha from Grandma bags I had never thrown away. I replaced every tag with a new one. Aloha from the women who stayed. That night, I slept with the windows open. Somewhere over the Pacific, 8 people were learning that love without respect is just another word for debt. And somewhere in California, one woman was finally, gloriously, paid in full. Chapter 3. The table where everyone had a seat. We landed in Maui on a Wednesday that smelled like plumeria and second chances. 7 women, 7 suitcases, 1 framed photograph of James, and a heart that no longer apologized for taking up space. The villa was exactly as I had pictured it, except better, because every laugh that echoed off the lanai belonged to someone who had once been told, in one way or another, that her story was over. Carol arrived first, wearing the bright turquoise scarf she said she'd bought in 1987 and never had anywhere fancy enough to wear. She stood on the porch, hands pressed to her mouth, tears sliding into her smile. "I keep thinking someone's going to tell me I'm in the wrong house," she whispered. I handed her a lei. "Welcome home, Carol." One by one they came. Louise with her sensible orthopedic sandals and a bottle of champagne she'd been saving since her 50th wedding anniversary that no one celebrated. Frances clutching a small tin of her husband's favorite butter cookies like a talisman. Beverly, who hadn't slept in a real bed without a call button in 2 years. Nora carrying a notebook she said was for finally writing the book she'd been too busy living for other people to start. Denise wheeling a suitcase covered in stickers from every state she'd driven someone else's child to college in. We did not talk about the people who weren't there. We didn't need to. The empty chairs had already taught us everything they had to say. The first night we ate dinner, at the long teak table overlooking the ocean. I placed James's photograph in the center, the same way I had once imagined placing it for a different family. I lit the lavender candle. Then I did something I had never done before. I went around the table and let each woman tell one truth she had never been allowed to speak out loud. Carol, I was a good mother. It wasn't my fault he stopped calling. Louise, I'm tired of pretending I don't mind being the free babysitter. Frances, I miss sex. And I miss being wanted. And I'm 78 and I'm allowed to say it. Beverly, I gave my brother my youth. I don't want to give him my sunset too. Nora, I have read 10,000 love stories. I deserve to live in one. Denise, I spent my life driving everyone else's dreams. This week somebody else drives. When it was my turn, I looked at James's smiling face and said the sentence I had rehearsed in the mirror for weeks. I was never the problem. I just loved the wrong people too loudly. The candle burned lower. The ocean kept breathing. Nobody tried to fix anyone. Nobody minimized. We just let the truth settle between us like warm sand. On the 4th night, we walked to the beach after dark. The moon was a thin silver spoon. I carried a paper bag with 7 small glass bottles, one for each of us. Inside each bottle I had placed a slip of paper. On every slip I had written the same 4 words in my best grandmother cursive. You were always enough. We waded into the water up to our knees, dresses hiked, laughter bubbling like champagne. One by one we corked our bottles and let the tide take them. May they reach someone who still needs to hear it, Nora said. Or may they just keep traveling, Carol answered, the way we finally did. On the last evening, we returned to the villa's fire pit. I lit the final lavender candle. We passed James's photo around the circle. Each woman held it for a moment, looked him in the eye, and told him thank you. Thank you for teaching Marilyn how to love fiercely. Thank you for leaving her strong enough to love herself when others wouldn't. Thank you for the table you built that finally has room for all of us. When the candle burned down to nothing, I stood up. I have one more thing, I said. I went inside and came back carrying a small wooden box. Inside were 7 silver bracelets I'd had made in Lahaina, simple, delicate chains with a single charm. An open hand, fingers curved in the universal sign for I love you. I fastened one around each wrist. This is our new family signal, I told them. When the world tries to make us small again, we touch this, and remember, we already took up all the space we needed, and it was beautiful. 3 weeks after we returned home, an email arrived from Nathan. It was long. It used words like miscommunication and stress, and we never meant to hurt you. It ended with a request, carefully worded, almost gentle, for help with the credit card debt they'd racked up trying to salvage the trip. I read it once, then I forwarded it to the 6 women who now had my heart. Their replies came within minutes. Carol, delete. You owe him nothing but the bill for therapy. Louise, block. Then book us again next year. Francis, honey, some doors were meant to stay closed. Beverly, my brother asked for 1 more year of my life last week. I told him the same thing I'm telling you. My time now has a price. And love isn't it? Nora, write the sequel, darling. This one already has a happy ending. Denise, I'm picking you up Friday. We're going dancing. Wear something that makes you feel dangerous. I closed the laptop. I never answered Nathan. Instead, I opened the group chat the 7 of us had named The Women Who Stayed and typed. Same week next year? My treat. James says the table's already set. 7 thumbs up emojis appeared instantly. Then Carol added a photo. All 7 bracelets lifted toward the camera. 7 hands in the I love you sign. 7 wrists catching the California sunlight. Underneath, she wrote, family is forever. We just redefined the word. I looked at the photograph on my mantle. James and me on that first honeymoon. Young and poor and stupidly happy. And I smiled the way he always smiled at me when he knew I'd finally figured something out. I touched the silver bracelet on my own wrist. And for the first time in my entire life, I did not feel even a little bit invisible. The tide keeps moving. The candles keep burning. And the table, God bless it, finally has room for every woman who was ever told her story didn't matter. It turns out it mattered most of all.